we're hearing reports that it is in fact going to be Mason Graham. Pick has not been officially announced yet. We are hearing that it will be Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan, as the Browns pick at number 5, first overall. And here's some video of him, and you liked him a lot.
So yeah, Mason Graham is absolutely my number 1 guy on my board, and you'll see what he does really well. He's violent with his hands. I always love wrestlers who are defensive linemen. He's 320 pounds, so he can play on first and second down, anchor in there, keep the linebackers free. Then he can get in that B gap. He can also rush from the edge if you'd like to match up inside with Miles, and you can move him out. He's that athletic. So once again, so I had Mason Graham as number 1, Hunter is my number 2 on my board, and it's the simple fact that Mason Graham, though not sexy, if you're going to go this route, it's as good as it can get, because now if they don't get playmakers, they're going to have to play great defense. They're going to have to do these things. Mason Graham is an outstanding. I know the Browns need talent skill-wise, but Mason Graham is as good as it gets as a defensive tackle. Big, fast, strong, violent hands, wrestler, mean. He will be a day 1 starter and very good in there.
Yeah, and again, comes from a program that's used to winning. I mean, Michigan, Ohio State fans hate him. I get that. But Michigan's a good program, especially on the trenches.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing, too. So he's seen it. So every day in practice, he's seeing NFL-type runs, the counters, the powers, the pin and pulls. He's been a part of that. Now, he's also going to bring, if the Browns need, you and I have talked about, the Browns need talent. They also need a little bit of an edge, right? They need to start hitting. They need to start practicing a little bit more, maybe becoming a little bit more violent during the week. And Mason Graham's a guy who's going to force that. He's going to challenge Batonio and Teller. This is a big, huge athlete who has a special skill set for somebody 320 pounds.
And again, you had him ranked as your number 1 guy on your draft board, and most people said he was, quote unquote, the cleanest, which meant not much variance. You know you're going to get it. Probably going to be multiple year all-pro kind of guy from that defensive tackle spot. Made the defensive line better. Jim Schwartz has to be smiling. He usually has tackles that can get upfield and make plays, and now he's got a pretty darn good one to kind of mold.
Well, I would say this, as an offense coordinator, sometimes you can chip a defensive end. Sometimes you can stay away from a corner. You can do things, but when you have that 3 technique, that's a really hard guy to game plan for. Especially when, think about Aaron Donald. Now, no one's Aaron Donald, but that type of where if you don't double him, he's going to mess up everything. That's what Mason Graham gives you. He is an alpha, and he's mean, and he will bring a lot to that defense in terms of what Schwartz likes in terms of attitude as well, besides the physical skills, which are through the roof.
And again, it helps Myles Garrett. Now you've got, you line him up to Myles Garrett. You're really going to double team Myles Garrett and leave Mason Graham singled?
Well, now you're hoping Hall progresses, right? So if what you got to say to yourself, we're going to have a new quarterback. We might not have the skill. So what do you got to do? You got to play complementary football. You got to shorten the field, shorten the game, get the offense the ball with 30 yards to go. Create some turnovers. They got to get a safety who may, if you're going this route, get a safety. Get Watts out of Notre Dame or Billy Bowman who can create some turnovers. Now you got to help the offense. Not only with some of the later picks, but also by having that complementary football from your defense and special teams.
So you look at Graham, and it's kind of interesting. You got Graham, you got Hall, you have Myles Garrett, you got Wright, you got Okunrankwo, assuming they don't trade him, Isaiah McGuire. You got a lot of. Jim Schwartz wants a dominant defensive line. He has the pieces there to be a dominant defensive line.
Well, and they also he likes to rotate those guys in, right? So you're going to get, it's a very matchup-friendly defense, right? So he's going to find matchups on the defensive line with linebackers, with corners, with safeties, with everybody. He's going to find those guys that are going to allow him to get Myles Garrett where he wants to go. And make no mistake, Myles Garrett is as good as it gets. But the more guys you have with him, right, the more they can't double him, the more they can't only be Myles Garrett. And they're getting to that point now, defensive line-wise, that this is huge from in my perspective too, because Dalvin Tomlinson was a much bigger loss.
Right.
So this will help them not get moved vertically, especially on first down.